Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 806 for the 9th of May. And there is some major news happening over at the Kharkiv Front. So this just happened just before I wanted to record this SITREP, this situation report. Something big happened over at the Kharkiv Front. The Russian forces seems to have started some kind of attack over this region here. This is reported by the Ukrainian side. The Ukrainian Deep State UA has reported this. The Russian forces attack in multiple directions, but in basically two different directions. One towards Voshansk and one towards Lipsy. So over the Lipsy side, we have the Russian forces attacking at Strelachia, Krasny, Pilnya, as well as Borisivka. So on this side, currently there is actually no news regarding there's capture or not. According to the Ukrainian side, they say that this attack, based on the manpower used, the kind of equipment used, this is not a major offensive yet. However, there is also already rumors that Strelachia has been fallen to the Russians, but this is not confirmed. It's at this moment just rumors. And there is a geolocation based on Deep State UA's they show an image of some equipment burning. However, it's unclear whose equipment is that. Is it the Ukrainian one or the Russian one? We're not sure. So we have no idea what is currently happening. This is breaking news as per this recording, so we have no idea what's happening. So luckily I did the SITREP at this moment, because if I've done this a few hours ago, I'm gonna have people commenting you know, outdated information again. So anyway, over on the other side, in the Voshansk direction, the Russian forces attack at Gadishev, as well as Platonivka, and wrong color. You should use red. Hatishev, whatever is it, and Platonivka, and the objective is Voshansk. So this is also where the Ukrainians previously attacked from Platonivka. The Russians have once upon a time attacked over at Oksevy. So this is not particularly it's not never done before. The Russians have done this before. At this moment, these attacks over on these two fronts are not a major offensive yet, as per the information that came out. It might be a precursor. It might be reconnaissance by combat. It could be just, or it could actually be just a diversion. So because before the attack, heavy artillery was used on the Ukrainian positions, and then it comes all this assault. I not sure. Like I mentioned before, I feel that there's no reasons or no need for the Russians to actually go on the offensive in the Kharkiv front. And of course, the Russians will always do surprising stuff. So it could be, which means that, you know, some other people who analyze that the Kharkiv offensive is coming, they are right. So, but however, based on my own opinion, I still feel that, you know, this is not a meaningful place to attack or do an offensive, because the time is not ripe yet. However, what is possible is that this is just the initial phase of a bigger offensive, or this could be just a diversionary. They gather a lot of forces over the Kharkiv region, they do a lot of bombardments, they attack, and then they never wanted to push through. They just want to draw Ukrainian forces attention into this area here, and bring all these equipments, all this ammo, heavy equipments, all these tanks and armor that is desperately needed over at the Avdiivka Front, and of course over at the Velika Novosibirsk sector, and perhaps over at the Siversk Front, maybe even at the Kupyansk Front. All these major front lines that has been being fought over for months might actually need all this equipment very desperately, and suddenly, because the Ukrainians cannot allow Kharkiv to fall, they suddenly diverted all the direction to the Kharkiv front, and then leaving the other front line bare, and then the Russians can take more grounds. So that could be a possibility. So so I would say that no, we cannot dismiss the possibility that this is just a diversionary attempt just to draw Ukrainian attention. We have already seen Russian side done this kind of thing before, so it's not beyond the realm of possibility. So the frontline changes report has already been published. There is a Krasnohorivka as well as Umansky, both very important frontline changes. So do check out the frontline changes report. But of course, as we do the SITREP, we will go through the same information again. So so we have covered the Kharkiv Front. No, so now we go into the Kherson Front. Also, over at the Kherson Front, we still have fighting reported over in the beachhead of the Ukrainians. Perhaps over at Krinky, perhaps in other places they didn't mention. So as per the tradition, we always put it at Krinky. So and as we zoom out, there is geolocation of Russian airstrike at Kizomis over here. So one airstrike over there, and there is also other reports from the Russian Defense Ministry about shelling at Zolota Balka as well as over at Vyshtarivka on the opposite side of the Dnipro River from the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. So there is 2 strikes or shelling reported over this area here. We move into the Zaporizhzhia Front, and over the Zaporizhzhia Front, there is fighting reported at Robotine. The fighting at the Verbove region has not been reported, so maybe it's gone. It's not the thing anymore. So again, diversionary could be. And based on the geolocation, we have a geolocation over at Polivka where the Ukrainian artillery got destroyed. One more is just off Malatomashka. This one is a Lancet hitting a Ukrainian artillery. So Ukrainian artilleries are keep getting destroyed here and there. So we shall continue to monitor the situation at the Zaporizhzhia Front. We move into the Donetsk Front. Over at the Donetsk Front, there is a lot of things happening. Russian forces attacking at Makarivka, Staromayorsky, and Uruzhaine. Ukrainian forces counter-attack at Staromayorsky. Russians attack towards Vodian, towards Konstantinivka at Bobeda, and Battle of Krasnohorivka is still ongoing. So Russian forces also shelled the Yelizavetivka over just off Antonivka, one of these strongholds, Ukrainian strongholds over at the Donetsk Front. So let's go into details. Over at the Velika Novosilka sector, Russian forces are currently attacking in multiple directions. They are attacking Uruzhaine. They are attacking on the eastern outskirts of Uruzhaine. They are going around. They are attacking Staromayorsky and heading towards Makarivka. Ukrainian forces are counter-attacking. Russian forces currently have a foothold in the southern part of Staromayorsky. So we'll continue to monitor and see whether the Russians can push through or the Ukrainians are able to hold them back. And there is geolocation of Ukrainian forces getting airstrike very close to the front line over here. And further in the rear, there is also, in terms of a defensive tree line, there is also another airstrike being geolocated. So Russian forces are now conducting major assault in this area here, which is why I say there is something to watch. In terms of the Kharkiv Front, is it actually a real offensive or is it just diversion? So, and the problem with this kind of thing is that the Ukrainians don't react. If they don't react, then the offensive will just get bigger and bigger over in the Kharkiv Front. But if the Ukrainians react, then it will become just a diversion. The Russians will just wait for the equipment to come and then just stop. And then when they stop, then it's like the Ukrainian equipments are now stranded in no man's land, and then they will have to redraw it and move it to another front. So this is the possible game that the Russians are playing on the Ukrainians. So over at this Vodian Konstantinivka region, Russian forces are attacking towards Vodian. They are also attacking towards Konstantinivka. Geolocation just off Antonivka showed a Lancet hitting a Ukrainian tank. So, and further in the rear, of course, we have the Yelizavetivka getting hit by Russian artillery or some kind of shelling, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. So, so over at the Marinka region, there is Russian forces attacking in the Bobeda region, and then another geolocation of FPV drone hitting a Ukrainian Leopard 2 tank. And where are the Leopard 1s? Yeah, like no, the Germans are getting really quiet about the Leopard ones. It's like, shh, don't remind them, don't remind them about the Leopard ones. So I reminded you, where's the Leopard ones? No, pro-Ukrainian peeps, go and ask the German politicians where are the Leopard ones. So anyway, over at the Battle of Krasnohorivka, some major developments happened around here. Russian forces attack from the east continues, and they have penetrated through this small little neighborhood over in the eastern part of Krasnohorivka. The Russian forces, as I mentioned, uh, they could do a pincer, and indeed they have done it. And the Russian forces pincered in and basically suddenly encircled any Ukrainian forces that is currently entrenched over at this heavy entrenchment on the outskirts of the eastern part of Krasnohorivka. So we're not sure how many Ukrainian troops are getting stranded here, or did they listen to my advice and run away. Of course, they can't possibly listen to my advice, because maybe all these things are happening faster than we hear. Maybe these are all 2 days news, 1 or 2 days ago news. We do not know, and maybe they don't speak English, so they probably can't hear my advice, and yeah. And maybe they are in the front line, they don't have the benefit of having internet, so who knows. So the situation is that they are now encircled. If these advances are true, because this is only based on Russian claims, the Ukrainians have not acknowledged this development, so we will continue to monitor. However, what we do have is the geolocation of Russian forces over in this area just off where the Russian advance came in from. So we will continue to monitor. The Ukrainians only reported until this point. We have this geolocation confirming the Russian presence already. So it's just natural that the Russians will just continue to push through. So we will continue to monitor the situation at Krasnohorivka, and we move into the Avdiivka Front. So as per usual, the Avdiivka Front is very heavy. Let's see. Okay, I think I can fit in everything this time around. So Ukrainian forces attack at Pervomaiske, attack at Netelove. Russian forces attack Netelove as well. They're attacking towards Yasnobrodivka, attack at Umanske. Ukrainian forces counter-attack at Olivka. Russian forces bombard Kharkivka. Russian forces push out from Semenivka, attacking towards Novoselivka, Persia. Ukrainian forces counter-attack at Solovyove. Russians attack Sokyu. Attack north of Ocheretine, attack Novo Alexandrivka. They are attacking north of Okhanhelske as well as Novokalinove. And on the New York front, they also attack Alexandropil, because these are related operations. So this is the strategic situation over at the Avdiivka front. Very complicated. So we have to go down into the different sectors. We go on the southern part of it. So over the southern part of it, there is actually over the Pervomaiske region, we do not have any news regarding this developing salient. Of course, this looks very pincerable. It feels very pincer itchy, but the Russians did not pincer it. So or they are unable to do it because of heavy mining and strong Ukrainian defenses around this area here. So what we do have is that the Ukrainians are counter-attacking over at Pervomaiske. So it could be in reaction to the Russian push previously, and the Ukrainians are also attacking at Netelove. Russian forces are counter-attacking in this area here, and they are also pushing towards Yasnobrodivka. There's a number of geolocations around this area here. FPV drone on Ukrainians. South of Yasnobrodivka, there is another FPV drone hitting a mother infantry fighting vehicle, another FPV drone. So the Russians in this area here is deploying a lot of FPV drones attacks against Ukrainian troops around this area here, and bombardments are reported at Kharkivka according to the Russian Defense Ministry's report. So we'll continue to monitor. The Ukrainians are trying to counterattack Pervomaiske and try to relieve the troops stuck at this Nevelske salient. We move into the central part, at the center part of this Avdiivka front. Russian forces have huge developments. The Russian troops raised the red banner, victory banner over Umanske, and signifying that they have captured, or they are basically in the center of Umanske on Victory Day. So basically, they are trying to celebrate the Victory Day by making this move. Ukrainian forces are attacking towards Olivka. Russian forces are attacking at Semenivka. They're attacking towards Velika, Novoselivka, Persia, and the Russians are pushing towards Yasnobrodivka. So this is the current situation, and it looks like, based on information, Ukrainian forces, not information, based on my projection, Ukrainian forces probably are withdrawing from Umansky towards Yasnobrodivka because it's just not holdable, and it only makes sense to withdraw to this place, and from Yasnobrodivka they actually retreat towards Skushny, because going up towards Novoselivka, Persia feels like a suicide mission. So I feel that they will probably go towards Yasnobrodivka, makes more sense. And Russians are making huge progress in this area here. If you look in, there is heavy and there is a lot of trenches over on the eastern part. It looks like a finger right now. It looks like a finger, and this finger is now totally chopped off by the Russians. With the Russians totally taken all of these grounds and penetrate into the center part of Umansky. This is a full capture, confirmed capture. So it is not just a claim, and it's just a matter of know how much more the Russians actually capture. So based on limited information, we have to assume that the Ukrainians still have the rest of Umansky, but it looks very untenable right now. So we move on to the northern flank of the Avdiivka Front. Russian forces are attacking towards Sokil, Ukrainian forces attacking towards Solovyove. Russian forces are trying to expand the northern part with attack towards Novo-Oleksandrivka, north of Ocheretine towards Kalinove, as well as Novokalinove. So this is the current situation. The Ukrainian forces seems to have gotten their supplies in terms of ammunition, maybe heavy equipment, anti-tank guided missiles. We're not sure, but the Russian advance in this area is now stunted. There is no continuous breakthrough anymore. This entire area was a breakout zone. The Russians have been breaking out. They're capturing town after town after town, but this has ended, and which means that over the past few days, the Ukrainians are doing a very good job, probably due to the arrival of ammunition, and this is also why the Russians are pushing in all other different directions, and in the latest one, of course, the Kharkiv Front. So we will continue to monitor the situation over at the Avdiivka Front. We move into the Niu-York Front. Over at the Niu-York Front, a lot of things happening as well. Russian forces attacking at Mayos, Ukrainians attack at Pivdeny, Russians attack at New York, attacking at Oleksandropil. So this front is also getting a little bit active, but we'll continue to monitor. I'm not sure what the Russians are doing, or could they be actually just simply go on a massive assault across all the front line, very similar to the Soviet Union's counterattack after the Ukrainians, the Germans get stuck over at Stalingrad, and then the Russians, not the Russians, the Soviets, after gathering a huge amount of forces, went on this massive counteroffensive. I forgot what's the name of the offensive. So is it Barbarossa? No, I forgot what's the name. Yeah, I haven't been reading World War II for a long time. So anyway, it is what it is. We will continue to monitor, and we move on away from the Niu-York Front into the Bakhmut Front. So at the Bakhmut Front, all the actions are centered around the center. Russian forces attack at Klishevka region. They're attacking at Ivanyske. There's a report of attack towards Tuposhki, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Ukrainian forces counterattack at Ivanyske, and Russians attack at Novi. So just before I continue, if you want to see this map, look at the sources yourself, look at the latest frontline changes, analyze yourself. You can go to the mapping by DPA in the link below in the description. Is the link. The link will bring you to the Defense Politics Asia website, and then you'll find the Ukraine war map there, and then you can actually access this Google My Map. We move on from this area here. There is no huge development. The Russian forces clearly did not push through. I mentioned before, Russian forces attacking through Chasivia don't make sense. This is totally pointless as a mission. This is very quinky, if you ask me, because what's the point of attacking through here, and then you have another heavy line of defense attacking through here, then you have another heavy big city that you need to conquer, and then there's just no point. To me, there's just no point to go through Chasivia. But of course, no, let's wait and see. Maybe it's just a diversion, or it could be that the Ukrainians are just doing a good job, sucking up all the fabbings. So we move on to the Siversk Front. Russian forces are attacking towards Bilohorivka in the Luhansk region and Verkhomokonyansk. There is no fighting being reported at Vimka or at Veselé or Rozdolivka, where previously there was attacks attacking in this area here. The past 24 hours is not being reported. So we will continue to monitor the situation over at the Siversk Front. We move on to the Kreminna Front. So over the Kreminna Front, Russian forces are attacking through the Serebransky forestry. They're attacking Torske, as well as this area, Nevsky. This area is called Novosadove. So the Russians are attacking in these areas. So there's no Ukrainian counterattack. There's no frontline changes in this area here. So we'll continue to monitor. And we move on to the Svatove Front. This Svatove. At the Svatove Front, we only have fighting being reported as Demakivka and Berestove. So this is very common. We always report about these attacks, but no much things happens. So we will continue to monitor. And we move into the Kupyansk Front. At the Kupyansk Front, fighting is now being concentrated over at Sinkivka and Petropolivka. The Russian Defense Ministry reported the Ukrainians attacking near Liman Pershi. So we will continue to monitor. It looks like the Kupyansk Front is going back to its old bad habits of not really pushing. And this is also why I have very little faith that the Russians are actually serious about the Kharkiv offensive. I don't think they are doing a Kharkiv offensive because they're not even taking Kupyansk seriously. So why go into the Kharkiv? So anyway, we shall continue to monitor. And of course, Kharkiv we already covered, so there's nothing much to talk about that. So that's it. So this is the summary or the SITREP or the situation report for the day of 806 for the 9th of May. Do press the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next update.